That's right, Hawk. Go ahead and make sure that that nice new armor you've got is all nice looking. So, I was, let's say, on the look for armors that I thought could be really cool looking for Hawk to wear. Also, armors that could improve with level up. And I found one called the Dragon Knight armor. And this is it right here. There's a few different variations for it, especially depending on what class you're playing. But from what I could tell, this is the warrior version. So I think it looks really cool. This kind of black and red look with the helmet like that. I mean, yeah, it covers up her face, but of course in cutscenes that's not an issue. But in case you're wondering how it is stat-wise, you can see there it's got, they have rune slots, they have attack speed, attack and health regen, XP gain, and 100% of basic attack damage versus enemies that attack in melee. And stamina regenerate and attack speed. So, yeah, pretty nice. And it improves with level up, and they each have rune slots. So, in case you guys are... This is how it looks from the back, by the way, along with Frostmourne. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know about the mods I'm actually using for this run. At least for now. This could change as I maybe find more along the way. Who knows? I also found one that's supposed to add another set of armor, but I can actually go purchase it from one of the merchants for a certain amount of gold. But the mods that we are using for this run at this moment are Diversified Follower Armors, Additional Companions, Evolving Companion Armor, Additional Mage Specializations, All Chests Unlocked, Dragon Age 2 Level 50, Missing Codex Entries, No More Spiders, No Restrictions Dragon Age 2, Summoned Wolf Ability Beta, Treasure System Configs, Valuable Junk, Complete Item Sets 2, Let Them Eat Cake, Rune Expansion Pack, Unobtainable Items Fix, Backpack Mod Inventory Increase, Dragon Age 2 Darkspawn Retextured, Dragon Age 2 NPC Hands, Branch of the Cursed Tree, Evolving Champion, and Morozix 75 Arsenal, which is the mod that added Frostmourne and some of the other weapons as well, including Fenris's Scythe. So, I think I paid a visit to the Emporium. I went ahead and put some gear on Fenris. So, what do you guys say we, since we just did this questline to get another companion here in our group, what do you guys say we kind of continue this trend here? So, let's go ahead and we can either go after this healer guy, or we can make our way over here to deliver this amulet that Flemeth gave us to the elves. I think for now we'll just go... Let's go find this healer so I can talk about it. Since it's kind of fresh in my mind, I was actually kind of thinking about this, how to talk about this. It's a theory. It's a headcanon thing. It's not, like, explicit, like, part of the actual canon lore, but... Let's just say, for me, it makes a whole lot more sense compared to what is actually presented here.
I have made this place a sanctum of healing and salvation. Why do you threaten it?
So, get used to Hawk just kind of giving him the stare game here as for a bit here, because I'm going to be talking a bit here. So, first off, yes, that's a different voice actor. Because Cullen is in this game, I guess they decided to take the route of, well, we don't want the same voice actor to do more than one character, even in the same scene, so we're going to have a different voice actor. So, I don't think this new voice actor does a bad job necessarily, but obviously it's just kind of like, oh, it's a different voice. But then again, you start to realize that's not the only thing that's different with this guy who is calling himself Anders. But let me make my point very clear here. This is not Anders. He calls himself Anders, and Hawk's going to refer to him as Anders. This is not Anders. This is not the same guy that we met back in Awakening. This is a different person, and the reason for that is because you guys, of course, remember when we met Justice in the Black Marsh, right? Do you also remember some of the banter I caught on camera about how they were talking about how Justice noticed as he saw it, injustice to the mages in Thedas and wanted something to be done about it? Well, the thing is, they talk about this, and, he's going to explain this later on. The way someone talked about this theory, and I wholeheartedly agree to the point where I've adopted it myself as my own headcanon as well, just like he did. And basically, they wanted to try and do something to make a difference. They want to also attempt something that had never been done before, a special type of merging or joining that no one had really done before, that was rather unique, that wasn't like how a mage accepting a demon into them turns them into an abomination. We saw this in Origins at the top of the Mage Tower. That's what Uldred was doing, getting them to accept them inside, which turned them into abomination. That's not what Anders and Justice tried to do. They tried to do an actual merging to see if they could be able to utilize that to help others and do what they can. What resulted was something that neither one of them expected, and it went horribly wrong. And again, he talks about this a bit later about how Justice really wanted to, he wanted to take action. If he saw an injustice being done, he wanted to actually take action to make it right. And Anders never, even though he was upset about how things were going, he never felt that he could do anything about it. And he even at one point said that the separation and such would be insane. That he actually said that in Awakening, of the mages and the chantry and the circle and all that. So even he was like, no, that's ridiculous. That's way too far. There has to be something else that we can do without resorting to something that extreme. And then we see what happens in this game. What happens as a result of this joining is a new being is created, a new person, a new creature, a hybrid that resulted from Anders and Justice joining, that had an unfortunate, unforeseen mixture of the two with their personality and what they were to create the thing in front of us, which he later calls it a spirit of vengeance. And let's just say that I've kind of adapted just simply referring to this being in front of us as vengeance. The Anders that we knew in Awakening, he's gone. He may claim to be, and it could be kind of a schizophrenic, alternate personality, not aware of what the other is doing kind of situation. Not entirely sure about that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was indeed the case. But this is not Anders. He may call himself Anders and walk around claiming to be Anders, and we'll even hear the other characters in the game call him Anders. This is not Anders. What I refer to this being as is vengeance, because that's the only way I can properly refer to him as without confusing the two, because I don't think it's right to refer to this person as Anders, since it's clearly not the same person. It's a different personality. The way he goes about things and talks about things is different. He's going to have a line later. I don't know if it depends on what dialogue option I choose, but he'll say something that the first time I was playing this game, I was like, wait, what? If I don't catch it, I'll tell you what it is. But it was just like, whoa. just, and it wasn't what he said, it was the way he said it. And it was so different from how Anders would say something back in Awakening. So, I just want to make that point clear. This is not Anders. This is vengeance.
I want to know about the Deep Roads.
Did the Warden send you to bring me back? I'm not going. Those bastards made me get rid of my cat. Poor Sir Pouncelot. He hated the deep roads.
You had a cat named Sir Pouncelot in the deep roads.
He was a gift. A noble beast. Almost got ripped in half by a genlock once. He swatted the bugger on the nose. Drew blood, too. The blighted warden said he made me too soft. I had to give him to a friend in Amaranthine.
I've always heard that joining the Wardens is for life.
That's only partly true. The hopelessly tainted by the Darkspawn and plagued by nightmares about the Archdemon parts don't go away. But it turns out if you hide well, you don't have to wear the uniform or go to the parties.
So you came to Kirkwall just to escape the Wardens?
You say that like it's a small thing. Yes. I'm here because there's no Warden outpost, no Darkspawn, and a whole host of refugees to blend in with. And some reasons of my own.
I'm part of an expedition to the deep roads. And I'll pay to find an entrance.
If I wanted money, I've been going about it all wrong. You can't imagine what I've come through to get here. I'm not interested. Although, a favor for a favor. Does that sound like a fair deal? You help me, I'll help you.
We'll get to the deep roads ourselves.
Wait. I have a warden map of the depths in this area. But there's a price. I came to Kirkwall to aid a friend. A mage. A prisoner in the wretched gallows. The Templars learned of my plans to free him. Help me bring him safely past them, and you shall have your maps.
So, I think the dialogue option is only if you pick the good choice at the top. But when you choose that, he says, "Really, that's it? What if I wanted to ask you for the Knight Commander's head on a spike?" And Hawk goes, "Oh, is that the favor?" And Vengeance goes, "It's like, well, it could be, you know." It was something like that, and it was just the way he said it without that joking tone that he had in Awakening, and I was just like, "Oh, what?" He said, because he says it in such a semi-serious way, not really too sarcastic or too joking, but he almost sounded serious about, like, what if I wanted you to get her head on a pike? And he doesn't like oh, just kidding or anything. And it was just like, oh, what's going on here? It was one of the, like, those big red flags that something's up with Anders. And until later, then you realize, no, this is not him anymore. By the way, yes, we are killing him by the end.
Tell me about your friend.
His name is Carl Thekla. He was sent here from Ferelden when Kirkwall Circle required new talent. His last letter said the Knight Commander was turning the Circle into a prison. Mages are locked in their cells, refused appearances at court, made tranquil for the slightest crimes. I told him I would come.
Are these accusations true?
Ask any mage in Kirkwall. Over a dozen were made tranquil just this year. The more people you ask, the worse the rumors become.
We'll talk more about the whole tranquility thing later, because we kind of have to.
What do the Templars know of your plans?
I don't know. I had been exchanging notes with Carl through a maidservant in the gallows. Then the letters stopped coming.
You want to make your friend an apostate?
That's such a weighted term. Yes, Andraste said magic should serve man, not rule him. But I've yet to find a mage who wants to rule anything. It goes against no will of the Maker for mages to live as free as other men.
Mages fall to demons. The Chantry can't trust them with the same freedoms as normal men.
And who are you to decide that how the Maker created me isn't normal?
It certainly isn't superior.
Would equal be too much to ask for?
You're asking the wrong person, Mage.
Never mind. I do not seek debate, only your aid.
How do you plan to break him out of the gallows?
I'm hoping it won't come to that. I sent Carl a message to meet me in the Chantry tonight. Make her willing, he'll be there, alone. But if there are Templars with him, I swear I'll free him from them, whatever the cost.
I will not make this deal sight unseen.
It's all right here. But you don't see one page until Carl is free.
As just as his cause is, it scares me. I don't want to give the Templars another reason to hunt us.
These are my terms. If you want my aid with your expedition, meet me in the Chantry tonight. I have sent word to Carl to be there. Make her willing, we will all leave free men.
I'm sorry, how many of you are enjoying that in that conversation? We're getting a really close-up shot of Frostmourne here. Believe it or not, I actually, it really does make me want to play through this game again, but with the other classes, just kind of like utilizing this, like wandering around with that staff the whole time, or having Fenris wielding Frostmourne instead of that scythe, or, you know, the Warglaives of Azeroth when we get Isabella later and I give them to her and you'll see her utilizing them. Just saying. Alright, let's go ahead and keep this going. Actually, hold on. Let's quickly go Let's go speak to this guy. Ooh, hello.
You there, Ferelden. I wish to speak with you. You've gained quite a reputation with the Red Iron Mercenary Band. I find myself in need of someone with your special talents.
What of it, old man?
I am a magistrate in this city, and I expect to be addressed with respect. Especially from someone who might be working for me.
Excuse me.
A man I sentenced to a life in prison has escaped custody. He's been tracked to an abandoned ruin outside the city. I'd like you to retrieve the fugitive and hand him over to the guard.
Why is there such a clamor to catch this man? What has he done?
He's escaped. That's reason enough to catch him.
The guards can take care of this. Unless there's something else you're not telling me.
Good. So I'm not the only one who thinks this smells like a setup.
The men refuse to go in without reinforcements. The ruins have been overrun by strange creatures.
Do you know what manner of beasts they are?
I don't know what they look like. I've never seen one myself. The guards say these things have already torn through a full company of men.
It would be easier to seal up the entrance and let the beasts take care of him.
I believe in justice, Ferelden, not unbridled slaughter. I will not let prisoners be eaten just because I don't want to get my hands dirty.
I'm sure if you send in enough men this time, they'd do fine.
No. The more guards who know, the easier it is for this to get out. Those men gossip like old fishwives.
I'll take the job.
Bring the fugitive in alive, quickly and quietly. Not only will you be well paid, you'll have the gratitude of a city magistrate. Useful for a refugee, wouldn't you agree?
Is brooding a sport in Tevinter? Do they hold competitions? Hand out trophies for the best scowls?
I'm not brooding.
Moping, then. You seem like you're a champion at it.
I'm perfectly content at the moment.
Oh, so that's you smiling. Glad you clarified that. I'd never have known.
I need a drink.
Hear you're having problems with the bone pit. I can help.
Finally someone comes to help me. You look a bit unseasoned, but I hope you'll do. I had to suspend operations. My workers are lost in the mines or have run off. Served me right for hiring Ferelden refugees. I sent others before, but no word. Perhaps they are putting me off. I need someone competent to figure out what is going on.
You said some of your workers are Ferelden.
Yes, all of them. An unruly lot, to be sure.
Mind what you say about my countrymen.
I was not referring to you, of course. My workers are a particularly desperate sort. They're lucky to work for me. Few in Kirkwall will hire refugees.
Your first mistake was naming your mine the Bone Pit.
The locals named the mine. Those fools say it's cursed. That is why I hire Fereldans. They may be dull-witted, but they're not superstitious.
Surely the miners had good reason to leave.
I am at a loss. No miner has reported in, and no one takes me seriously.
The Bone Pit must be dangerous if people are afraid to venture there.
No, nothing like that. Pay no heed to local superstition. The Bone Pit is mostly harmless.
What's the reward?
I will pay handsomely. The exact amount depends on what perils you face.
I'll head there soon.
The sooner the better. Each day the mine is not running costs me more than those miners make in a year. The Bone Pit is just outside the city. Any map will show it.
Someone's always trying to claim the streets. If you make them safe to travel at night, someone will reward you.
Wink, wink.
I saw Carl go inside a few minutes ago. No Templars so far. Are you ready?
By the way, if any of you have, wonder, hey, Neeks, did you know that there are mods that can improve the textures and such, like the high definition and such? Yeah, I've messed around with them, tested them. The thing is, they seem to work fine. The problem is that I tend to get more lag and stuttering and frame rate drops once I use that. I would prefer for things to be much smoother with the frame rate and can live with not so great textures like that one back there. It doesn't really bother me all that much compared to other people. I can live with bad textures and graphics if I have really nice high smooth frame rate.
I didn't see anyone suspicious out here. Let's do this fast.
All right. I'll handle the talking. You watch for Templars. When we find Carl, just let me talk to him.
Just some random book.
Anders, I know you too well. I knew you would never give up.
What's wrong? Why are you talking like...
I was too rebellious, like you. The Templars knew I had to be... made an example of.
No!
How else will mages ever master themselves? You'll understand, Anders. As soon as the Templars teach you to control yourself. This is the apostate.
No!
You will never take another mage as you took him.
So you can also kind of hear the very similar voice there to Justice, but clearly different. Again, it's not just Anders who's gone, it's Justice. Like, what took the place of Justice is an entirely new being and spirit named Vengeance, which replaced both Anders and Justice. I'm not saying this is the canon thing, but this is the head canon thing that I've kind of embraced, that I know others have also embraced, because it just makes so much more sense.
Anders, what did you do? It's like you brought a piece of the Fade into this world. I had already forgotten what that feels like.
So, I've heard that this was the first time that it was actually introduced, the idea that you could actually cure tranquility was in something called Sundered. I did not see that or read that, whatever. I'm guessing it's a short story if I recall. But that was not the first time I heard. But when we played Inquisition, and the first time they said, we got the secret quest with Cassandra, we find out in the book there that there actually is a cure to tranquility. It kind of changed the perspective of what's going on here. Even though here, there's a hint that maybe this could be undone because he came back with the way they explain it. But then you hear the way that Vengeance here puts it, like, oh, can you cure a beheading? Which is not really the case, as we found out in Inquisition. But that's not necessarily just the case here. As we will find out, there's a lot of abuse of tranquility in Kirkwall. And it's done in an extremely horrible and disgusting manner.
This bastard ratted you out to the Templars.
He wasn't himself. Being made tranquil takes away everything human inside you. He wasn't capable of caring for me anymore. He could only follow the rules.
You cannot imagine it, Anders. All the color, all the music in the world, gone. I would gladly give up my magic. But this... I'll never be whole again.
This is what Mother was protecting me from.
Please, kill me before I forget again. I don't know how you brought it back, but it's fading.
Carl, no.
Maybe we can find a cure.
Can you cure a beheading? The dreams of tranquil mages are severed. There is nothing left of them to fix.
I would rather die a mage than live as a Templar puppet.
Again, we find out later that that is actually the case, that what he said there about, oh, there's nothing left, we find out that's not true. So it actually could have been possible to cure him.
My sister calls being tranquil a fate worse than death. Give him peace.
I got here too late. I'm sorry, Carl. I'm so sorry.
Now! It's fading! Why do you look at me like that?
Oof. The drastic change in the tone there.
Goodbye. We should leave before more Templars come.
Talk. What happened to you in the Chantry?
This is hard to explain. When I was in Amaranthine, I met a spirit of justice who was trapped outside the Fade. We became friends, and he recognized the injustice that mages in Thedas face every day.
And that's different than a demon.
Just as demons prey on the deadly sins of mankind, there are good spirits who embody our virtues. Spirits of compassion, fortitude, justice. They are the Maker's first children, and they have all but given up on us.
Just say whatever you have to say.
To live outside the Fade, he needed a host. I offered to help him. We were going to work together, bring justice to every child ever ripped away from his mother to be sent to the Circle. But I guess I had too much anger. Once he was inside me, he changed.
So, you have this spirit of justice living in your head?
It's not like that. He's gone now. He's part of me. It's not like we can have a conversation. I feel his thoughts as my own. Not even the greatest scholar could tell you where I end and he begins.
I just need your Grey Warden expertise, not a diatribe on your strange personal habits.
Here. These are all the documents I have for this area. I can understand if you would rather me not join you personally. I cannot control my need for vengeance. I would ask no one to take on the danger of traveling with me. I will be here in my clinic if you need me. This is the only place in Kirkwall I feel safe.
I'm going to switch him into my party for just a moment. Alright, Anders, here you go. New staff for you. Healing staff. Renegade's coat that improves with level up. Alright. Actually, I think I'll take a moment to level them up. When we come back, we'll go ahead and try and see if we can find another new companion. In fact, I think what we'll do is also we'll quickly drop by the Hanged Man. In fact, we may also just quickly go pay a visit to Bartrand to not only give them the 50 sovereigns, but also to have Anders be like, hey, guess what? I have maps. Just to see if a certain Ravani will be at the Hanged Man after we do that. And then we will see if we can deliver this amulet that Flemeth gave us to the Dales. Stay tuned.